Good afternoon, I'm Dara Smith with the Midday News. A special welcome if you're on onespotmedia.com. A reminder as well that you can watch TVJ live by downloading our One Spot Media app in the Google Play Store or the App Store. That's the number 1, followed by the words Spot and Media. Information Minister Senator Ruel Reid has called on Jamaicans to remain calm as the Jamaican government is on top of the situation in the United States following last Friday's immigration ban issued by U.S. President Donald Trump. Mr. Reid, while acknowledging the concerns being expressed by Jamaicans, believes the matter should not be escalated.
As far as we're concerned, there's no more information that is already out there, that there's no direct impact on Jamaica at the moment. I don't think we should escalate and have panic. I think the government is aware of the concern. We're on top of it. We're talking to our key partners within the State Department and so on, just to monitor, and across the diaspora. So I would say, stay calm. This government tries to stay on top of everything, and we will be making ourselves available, as we continue to do, to communicate if there are any issues that we think warrant public disclosure information.
And Senator Reid, in his capacity as Education Minister, wants more information on the situation at the St. Thomas Technical High School. On Monday, an auxiliary staff worker and 2 male students were involved in an altercation at the school. Mr. Reid, speaking at this morning's post-cabinet media briefing, indicated that there seems to be a management breakdown at the school. The Education Minister has asked his team to get further particulars from the school's management, including the board of the school.
When I hear about the prevalence of gang-type activities in a school, it is telling me that the management of the school itself has fallen down. I've had, as a principal, been able to deal with discipline in school and security in school, so I can talk from a practical point of view that you have to be proactive and bring the matter on the management. So I'm going to be asking to have a discussion with the leadership of the school and whatever support they need to bring the matter of discipline under control.
He says it is an area he has taken particular interest in, and he believes there are some management gaps.
Interesting, and I just think that there are some management gaps from the reports that I have received that we need to intervene and strengthen those capabilities.
Meanwhile, charges have been laid against the auxiliary worker and 2 male students who were involved in the altercation. 27-year-old Kadeen Henry and the students have been charged with assault occasioning bodily harm. Mr. Henry will face the St. Thomas Parish Court on February 15, while the 2 boys will face the court on February 23. A statement from the ministry yesterday said the incident was captured on the school's surveillance camera. Teachers at the school staged a sit-in yesterday to protest the incident. This led to classes being suspended. Normalcy is expected today. The police have released one of the persons who was arrested on Friday in relation to an alleged fraud at the Crossroads Collectorate of Tax Administration, Jamaica. A businesswoman and 4 cashiers from the Crossroad Tax Office were taken into custody by the Major Organized Crime and Anti-Corruption Agency, MOCA, during simultaneous raids in the corporate area. Commissioner of the Revenue Protection Division, Major Johanna Llewellyn, said the businesswoman was released.
We have just about finished all the question and answers with the persons who were detained, along with their attorneys, and so we will be making a determination very shortly as to what charges will be laid against you. There are some promising leads, but I can't really talk about it. It will probably compromise the investigation. The investigation is at a very technical and critical stage.
A plea this afternoon for the Jamaica Public Service Company to regularize the service of residents living in the Bogwalk Gorge. The residents say for years they've been stealing electricity, but they now want to start paying. Home to over 50 households. For almost 50 years, they have been living without a legal supply of electricity. Although right above the community is the electrical wire which takes power supply to Bogwalk and other sections of the gorge. Despite numerous promises and efforts to get power in their area, the residents say it's been a challenge.
I say I make about 40 years now since I live right there, so. And the darkness we live in. If we forget to look at the thief, we have a thief. And right now, we tell that they live it today now. They say we are living in the darkness and better can go on.
Everybody come in a power, we can't get no light around here. I would like to know what happened. I'm not a river maid. I'm not a peony wally. I would like some light. Pay a promise. Here go, here go, here go, here come. Here, the same old story. We would like light around here.
At least one resident has opted to go the route of solar energy, but others explain it's an investment they cannot afford at this time. What they say they can afford, however, is the regularization of their power supply.
You know how far we have to thief a little light from just for see? Because you have to pick them and you want one TV for them. You know how far, so you thief your light and them come in. You have to fight sometime all 3 days you're out of light. Because you have to try hustle back, look why you have to go thief your light again. You understand? And that's what you have them force you to do. Go buy wire or go beg some wire and have thief in light.
I brew me making and more time I buckle lamp me have to use. For more time we have TV current and GPS come cut off here me work. A buckle lamp we have to use. Them are sitting there gone for years ago. For civilized time now.
The residents are urging the JPS to consider the number of people living in the area and take immediate action to give them electricity. The Jamaica National Group this morning officially launched the new Jamaica National Bank, promising customers reasonable interest rates and lower bank fees. That assurance comes at a time when the public has been raising questions about high banking fees and cases of cyber fraud involving financial institutions. Chairman of the JN Group, Oliver Clark, says the change from a building society to a commercial bank will allow Jamaica National to provide better banking service to Jamaica, particularly regarding the security of customer savings.
Organization into financial and non-financial groups. This enhances the security of members' savings that they hold with us. And we have reorganized JNBS to become a bank in order to provide an expanded range of services to our members.
First of all, we will be the only mutual bank fully owned by our savers and borrowers. And in that vein, we're established to serve our Jamaican members wherever they reside all over the globe. Last I checked, we had members in 50 different countries. In an effort to assist in the rebuilding of the Clifton Boys' Home, which was recently destroyed by fire, the JLP Area Council 4 ran a collection drive from which they collected $160,000. The money was handed over to the Clifton Boys' Home Rebuilding Fund on Friday by Councillor for the Planters Division, Senator Charles Sinclair.
This whole situation is touching to the hearts of everybody, I'm certain. And for us at the Area Council and being members of the Jamaica Labour Party, we campaigned under the slogan of We Care. And it was a way in showing to these youngsters here that we do in fact care. There are persons out there who care about their livelihoods and wanting to assist in the restoration process.
One of the volunteers at the boys' home, Rashida McDonald, responded to the gesture.
We really appreciate it. You're going to do a lot, especially with the building back of the home. Because we really appreciate the church letting us stay here, but we would really like to go back home.
Senator Sinclair also made this appeal to other corporate organizations.
Whether you're involved in associations or you work alone, but it has been made public as to how contributions can be made, and I'm certain that contributions can be made in many different ways, whether financially or in kind or just in providing service once the rebuilding process starts, that they follow the directives of the CDA and work with the Clifton Boys Home in ensuring that these youngsters are brought back on their feet as quickly as possible.
The 28 boys who were dislocated at the Clifton Boys' Home are currently housed at the Caledonia Holiness Church Hall in Darliston, Westmoreland. Time now for a look at what's coming up in this evening's Health Report.
In the next edition of the Health Report, we look at traumatic brain injuries.
So once you have a head injury, we hope that you're transported securely to the emergency room at the hospital, where we'll resuscitate you And over the last 2 decades, I think the university has spent a lot of time developing emergency medicine and advanced trauma life support care in order to resuscitate the patients.
That's the health report this evening in Primetime News. And now for today's Healthy Living tip. We look at what you can do to prevent a traumatic brain injury. Wear a seatbelt every time you drive or ride in a motor vehicle. Never drive while under the influence of alcohol or drugs. And make sure the surface on your child's playground is made of shock-absorbing material.
In news overseas, a widowed mother of 3 facing deportation says Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada failed her family, who fear their lives will be in jeopardy if they are sent back to Jamaica next month. With the details from the CBC. And we'll move on to the sports story. Former Prime Minister and respected attorney P.J. Patterson has labelled the International Olympic Committee's handling of Nestor Carter's hearing as unfair. This after a 3-member panel chaired by Dennis Oswald found the sprinter guilty of doping and stripped him along with his relay teammates of gold from the 2008 Beijing Olympics. Speaking on RGR's Beyond the Headlines on Tuesday evening, Mr. Patterson said there were loopholes in the ruling.
What we saw recently in a cricket competition between 2 schools, that wasn't possible.
Mr. Patterson, who helped Veronica Campbell-Brown to overturn a 2-year ban in 2013, is also calling on members of the public to help raise the needed funds, estimated to be $100,000 to help Carter's appeal to the Court of Arbitration for Sport.
Which to my mind arise on a careful examination of the judgment. And I think the matter has to be taken before the Court of Arbitration for Sports, where the hearing begins anew, so that issues which may not have been raised or fully ventilated or exhausted in the disciplinary inquiry can be reopened.
Capabilities for methylhexanamine were available in 2008.
We now return to our international news. A widowed mother of 3 facing deportation says Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada failed her family, who fear their lives will be in jeopardy if they are sent back to Jamaica next month.
It's not because of poverty why I'm here. It's circumstance.
Circumstances Natasha Gordon-Jones says would put her life and the lives of her 3 kids in jeopardy if they're sent back to Jamaica.
Do you know what murder is like in Jamaica? They leave nothing. These are heirs of me, heirs of my husband. They're dead.
Gordon-Jones says her husband Everton was shot and killed on his way to the family scrap metal business on the island in July 2011 after he refused to pay extortion money to a gang.
I thought that was where it would have ended. Little did I know that was the beginning.
She says she pulled her kids out of school after 2 men tried to pick up one of her sons, and on another occasion was told her daughter would be raped if she didn't pay protection money. She reported the threats to Jamaican police, changed her number and took the kids to a different part of the island.
And my phone rang, private number, and the guy said to me, "You can run, but you cannot hide."
She fled to Canada the next day with her daughter Sasha and sons Jason and Michael. She's been fighting to stay for the last 5 years, but the full-time debt collector is running out of time. Border Services says the family has to leave by the 3rd week in February. They've mostly kept mum about their ordeal until last week.
I kind of felt like it didn't really matter if I told anyone, because we're super unstable right now, so I don't really see the point.
When 17-year-old Jason Lee Jones decided to tell his English class last week, the staff and students rallied to help.
We've had alumni students from Holy Cross contact me who've heard the story and writing letters to the Minister of Immigration.
They make sure I have food. They make sure I'm stable in my mind. They just think of it, they're doing it.
The Joneses say they have faith they'll be granted a reprieve and say they can't express how grateful they are for the community support.
Just imagine going through what we've been through for 4 years and then out of nowhere, people start being nice and you're like,
whoa.
So this has been Canada all this time?
We asked Citizenship Canada about their case, but it has not yet responded to our questions. Michelle Chung, CBC News, St. Catharines.
And that's the Midday News. I'm Dara Smith. Join us at 7 for Primetime News. On behalf of the news, sports and production teams, have a good afternoon.